This year the studios have been broken up into a series of themes. In this particular room we're looking at memory and how that relates to the South Wales valleys.
All the projects on show address wide socio-economic and political issues in the Heads of the Valleys region. So it's the old coal mining regions of South Wales, which obviously were a source of great pride and great economic value to the region.
I chose my site in Mercer, and based on this I made my decision on a cooking school and a public market. So I've angled these sort of walls and the open public space that sort of invites the person on the high street into the building. There's a restaurant that is run by the cooking school. The idea is that you can have cooking demonstrations where you sort of pick out the ingredients on the market and then publicly teach how to make a meal out of it.
Originally I started mapping areas of deprivation against a lack of health services and noticed a correlation between areas of deprivation and their lack of access to things such as a doctor, pharmacy, a dentist. And so I was looking at how I could bring in a new system, so a mobile health unit, using an existing route of a pylon that runs across the valleys. And I was going to put onto this a new aerial tramway, electricity and a broadband line. So it meant that now people could travel across the valleys, where it's currently runs north to south, but this would mean you could run east to west.
I've got quite interested into hemp stalk and its applications within the building environment. The university really allowed me to kind of explore that and explore it both in engineering terms. So I've been producing quite a lot of blocks and structures which are the first of their kind, and to envisage how that might look in terms of a piece of architecture. This is a hemp stalk and it's grown as a crop in a field, much like you see wheat, and it's never been used in construction before.
What I found most interesting about the Heads of the Valleys was that there was a lot of contaminated land that was sort of left over from its very strong industrial activities. The land had been remediated through sort of chemical processes, which didn't really involve the community. I was trying to explore how the community could be engaged in this process. In my opinion, the best way to do that was through plants. So my project is essentially a landscaped park which collects soil from all over the heads of the valleys and tests them and cleans them with plants.
Basically I'm looking at an area just south of Aberdare, and due to the depopulation that's been going on in the valleys, how towns shrink back to their centres and how their centres become more solid, and then looking at how you curate the emergence of that landscape, whether it be a kind of wild natural habitat with woods or a more ordered habitat with an orchard and this kind of thing, more controlled, and then how those landscapes can become productive in a way that's locally responsible and locally sustainable.
My project focused on replacing the old feedstocks that the Welsh valleys used to rely on. So it used to be coal and iron, also fossil fuels. Since that's gone, the region has fallen into decline. So my project seeks to install a new product into the landscape. In this instance, it's using microalgae as kind of a catalyst for industrial resurgence, due to the myriad of other things that microalgae can be used for, from bioplastics to pharmaceuticals, cosmetics. The project itself deals with constructing a pharmaceuticals factory which harvests algae from different growing sites and then refines them and turns them into a really high value product which serves both the people in the valleys as well as people wider afield.
The course is the main thing that captured me and my imagination. We're allowed so much freedom and there's so much stimulation to pursue what we want to pursue. And I think that's why we got such an array of different projects on show. It shows how much kind of freedom we're given.
This school has a really strong association with craft, and the way in which your building really responds to the place it sits in, and there's a great deal of attention to detail that comes right from the beginning of projects all the way through to the very end that follows that theme, and that's what Cardiff has that other schools don't.
I've really enjoyed the course, and I've learnt so much, and I know that the friends that I've made here will be friends for life, so yeah, really sad to be leaving.